Hi, I'm Rowan Taylor, Director of Financial Services here at Blackburne. Today we're going to be talking about vendor discounting. Now, vendor discounting isn't something that gets into the media too much. Plenty about auction clearance rates and the amount of stock on the market, but vendor discounting is one of the best ways you can get a feel for how the market's travelling. So what's vendor discounting? Vendor discounting is the difference between what a seller originally lists their property price for and what a buyer ultimately pays for that property. So if a seller lists for $100,000 and then ends up having to discount that property to $95,000, there's a $5,000 vendor discount. Now, vendor discounting gives us a good feel for are sellers and buyers seeing eye to eye. Now, in July 2011, vendor discounting peaked at 8.3%, which meant there were a lot of optimistic sellers out there and a lot of pessimistic buyers, meaning the buyers wanted more than what the sellers were prepared to pay, and they had to come back to meet the market. At the moment, vendor discounting's come right back to around 5%, and that low water mark was about May 2014. We're seeing a slight increase in vendor discounting now. So what does that mean for the market? Well, it means after a while, the buyers and the sellers, having seen eye to eye, sellers start to think, I might be able to get a bit more money for my property than perhaps what the market's prepared to pay. And that's generally what happens when we've had good property market conditions. Now, the vendor market and the vendor discounting changes and is different between Queensland, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, and the like. And at the moment, we're just starting to see an increase in the gap between what sellers want and buyers are prepared to pay. Now, that might mean that because prices have grown, sellers are getting a little bit optimistic again and buyers are starting to get a little bit more cautious. Vendor discounting is just one thing that goes into looking at an area and looking at different properties. So if you'd like some more information on that, don't hesitate to give us a call at Blackburne on 1300 Invest, or go to blackburneinvest.com.au, or get in touch with any one of my team here at Blackburne. I'm Rowan Taylor, Director of Financial Services at Blackburne.